When you see a massive heavy-duty truck roaring down the highway or a giant cargo ship cutting through the ocean, have you ever wondered where that immense power comes from? The answer is the diesel engine. Invented by Rudolf Diesel in the 1890s, this engine is the workhorse of the modern world. But here's the mystery. In a standard petrol engine, you need a spark plug to ignite the fuel. A diesel engine, however, has no spark plugs. So how does it burn the fuel without a spark? The secret lies in a process called compression ignition. To understand this, we need to look inside. A diesel engine operates on a 4-stroke cycle. Inside the engine block, there is a cylinder, and inside that, a piston moves up and down. This piston is connected to a crankshaft, which converts the up and down motion into the rotational force that eventually turns the wheels. Let's break down the 4 magical steps: suction, compression, power, and exhaust. The first step is the intake or suction stroke. The piston starts at the top and moves downward. As it descends, the intake valve opens. Here's the key difference from a petrol car. In a petrol engine, a mixture of air and fuel enters, but in a diesel engine, only pure air is sucked into the cylinder. As the piston hits the bottom, the cylinder is filled with fresh oxygen. Now begins the second and most critical step, the compression stroke. The intake valve closes, sealing the cylinder tight. The piston now moves from the bottom back up to the top. It squeezes that air tighter and tighter. Diesel engines compress air much more intensely than petrol engines. When you squeeze air this hard, the molecules rub against each other violently, creating friction and heat. By the time the piston reaches the top, the air temperature shoots up to over 800 degrees Celsius. There is no fire yet, but that air is now hot enough to melt lead. This brings us to the third step, the power stroke. This is where the magic happens. Just as the piston reaches the very top and the air is superheated, a fuel injector sprays a fine mist of diesel directly into the cylinder. Because the air is already scorching hot, the diesel doesn't need a spark. It ignites instantly upon contact. Bam! A powerful, controlled explosion occurs. This expanding gas pushes the piston down with tremendous force. This force turns the crankshaft and gives the vehicle its power. Finally, we have the fourth step, the exhaust stroke. The piston, having delivered its power, is at the bottom again. It starts to move up one last time. The exhaust valve opens, and the piston pushes the burnt gases and smoke out of the cylinder and into the exhaust pipe. This cycle, suck, squeeze, bang, blow, repeats thousands of times per minute. The reason diesel engines are so loud and vibrate so much is because of that intense compression step. However, this same high compression is what gives them incredible torque and fuel efficiency. From pulling heavy trains to powering the world's shipping lanes, the diesel engine relies on simple physics, squeezing air until it gets hot enough to create power. It is a masterpiece of mechanical engineering that proves you don't always need a spark to start a fire. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about how things work, hit that like button and subscribe for more engineering insights.